A gun should be broken and unloaded whenever it's not being fired. And especially when getting through a fence or over any obstacle. If you don't follow the rules, sooner or later there'll be a tragedy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's watch party for Tron Legacy. As always, I'm Andrew. We're joined by special guest Jess, as Dom is at his baby shower today. Welcome, Jess.
Hello, everybody. I promise no colonoscopy stories today.
Well, no, we may get into some other crazy stuff with Tron. Maybe do. Right, let's do a roll call and we'll get into this movie. So I can see we're joined by Immortal Rimus, Sharon, Mad Matt, Hell if I know, Lizard Man, Calbot, Jedi Wizard, Mad Matt, Eric, Brainwire, Ms. Swift, Dr. J. Hale, Old Johnny Devick, Plutonium Shaw, and Edward the Black Prince. Welcome, everybody. So tonight, the sync point is approximately 20 seconds in, where you just see that kind of Disney kind of light castle, we'll call it, appear. So, Jess, when did you first see this movie? I think you probably, like me, you probably saw it as soon as it came out.
I saw it as soon as it came out. I was one of the first people in line. I brought my identity disc with me.
Nice.
And I loved the original to death. And so I was very excited about this movie, and it didn't disappoint. Yes, I know everybody makes jokes about the look of Kevin Flynn's alter ego Clue in this, because he kind of does look odd in some scenes, but there are some scenes that are super, super well done. And I think you have a lot of thanks to give to Tron Legacy for that software, because this was like really the first time it really was used, and pretty amazing. I couldn't believe we were getting a second Tron movie. I really couldn't.
I couldn't. So many years later. The thing that got me was that trailer that came out, that teaser trailer, and then you saw it was a yellow player. And I went, that's Clue! It's Clue! Clue back in the trailer. I was like, oh my god, because he was the only yellow character you'd seen to that point.
Yep. Yeah, and someone, Plutonium Shore, is pointing out, I'm sure we're going to get into Tron Ares talk, but the music in this movie was so good. You couldn't get better than Daft Punk for a Tron film.
And incredible soundtrack.
Even the mixes, like I have both of them. I have the original and the remix soundtrack, and they're just so flipping great. And what was even funnier was you find out after the fact that when they went to Daft Punk to do the soundtrack, basically the director was like, I felt like I was being interviewed for my job with Daft Punk, because they were making a point of having me be very clear of what we're going to do that was going to be back to the original film. So, yeah, I love this movie.
I do too.
Unabashedly.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll hit the countdown and we'll get into this film then. So here we go. And there we go. It's just everything about this film, the intro to this as well. I love this.
Oh, the progression.
Yeah.
I could listen to Jeff Bridges read a phone book, I think, with that voice. He's got that Sam Elliott thing that's so great.
I love the fact he's kind of he's so technical, and then he kind of goes, yeah, man, but goes full on hippie. He goes full on hippie excited about it, and that's what's great about him in Tron.
Yeah, and I love the progression into reality too, which is so fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's the music, baby.
Soundtrack is so good. One of the things that obviously I'm going to probably refer to a few times, I was telling you just before this, I've been fortunate enough to go on the Tron Light Cycle ride a few times, and it's basically just got a Daft Punk remix throughout the queue, on the ride, and when you get off the ride, the whole area is just a remix of this. It's just incredible. At
Ugh.
night, if you're going to ride it, try and go when it's pitch black at night, because it is just so good.
Oh man. Yeah, the one thing that that happened a few years back, I think it was like 10 years ago. I think a geek died locally here in my town, and I went to one of the St. Vinny's in town here. I love this scene, by the way. Yeah, I want that figure.
That poster is just so iconic as well.
Uh-huh. This is like an ad for Disney right here with the black
Yeah,
hole and everything.
yeah. Oh, we
Um,
saw a Bob. Was that Bob we just saw a brief shot of
oh, it
from
might
Black
have
Hole.
been.
Yeah, it was Bob because he only had one sort of leg.
Oh, was that, yeah, old Bob. Oh, he's even got light cycle pillows. I just noticed that.
I would kill for light cycle pillows. I don't know how my wife would feel about them, but
My husband would be okay with it. That looks like the head from a Han Solo doll.
yeah,
But speaking of the figures, so I went into the St. Vinny's here in town, and somebody had a shoebox of nothing but like late 70s, early 80s action figures that they had turned in, and they were selling the whole box for $200. I'm like, I don't have that, but you could buy the figures for $10 each. And I started digging through, and I found the soldier from Tron,
okay,
and I found a Tron,
wow,
and they were literally 1984 on the back or 82 on the back. They were the original figures. They weren't loose. And so I'm like, okay, that I got a Calibos from Clash of the Titans. I'm like, some poor person's dead, and I'm just picking over their bones. But yeah, I still have those.
I don't know. It's still cool. It's still cool to be able to get that kind of stuff. Question for the chat though. So, how do you guys, had you seen Tron before this movie? Because I'm quite aware there's almost pretty much a generation of people who may not have even seen Tron before they saw this, the original.
Yeah, I'm curious because not a lot of people saw the original when it came out. It was a
No.
flop.
Oh wow, Mr. Kiskaloo, welcome, has joined us, saying I saw Tron in the theatre. I saw this in the theatre, certainly as soon
Yeah.
as it came out. But Tron for me was it was a strange movie because I never really understood it as a kid. I saw it when I was very young on TV, and I didn't quite understand, and it kind of scared me a bit, just because the look of the film scared me.
I loved how I mean, the amount of work that went into it, and
Yeah,
on the making of the original Tron, one of the best scenes I think was not Jeff Bridges, but Bruce Boxleitner was so excited he caught that disc and
yeah,
that one scene, and he was like, yeah, he's all happy. Um, but I remember my sister and her friend went and saw it, and I was pissed that I didn't get to go, and I was probably like 7 when it came out. And if you didn't know anything, because it was really ahead of its time,
yeah,
because the home computing thing hadn't really taken off yet. And so you had to be a real geek to get into this and realize what this all meant, like the yes, no, the bit. You so it was really something that I was to this day I'm happy Disney took a chance with it, because I think they're happy about where it is led now.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. But looking at the comments here, Mad Matt saying he's actually old enough to have gone on the Tron extension to the People Mover at Disneyland.
Oh my god.
That was short-lived. Very short-lived. That's fantastic.
That's crazy.
That is.
That's a nice transition, by the way, from the bike to the
Yeah.
motorcycle.
This was a thing we saw in a few movies kind of at about this time. This reminds me a lot of the Dark Knight, kind of scenes on the motorcycles.
Yeah.
The way it's shot, but very of a very similar time. But it's also it's kind of a bit, I don't know.
It's almost Blade Runner-y in a
Yeah,
way, because it's got
yeah,
that. There's water. It's a damp urban street design, darkness.
yeah. It's very cool though, and the soundtrack is just it's a character in itself in the film, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
so good.
I also love that the parallel between Flynn and his son riding
Yeah,
the light cycle and all of that. As you go back to this movie, and you there's a lot going on, and I really like the parallels to it.
yeah. I just love the whole thing. This film, it's got a great aesthetic to it. I'm a little disappointed that again, we're going to be talking about this throughout the film, on the cast list for Tron Ares, it says it's in post-production. I've not seen his name, Garrett's name mentioned anywhere on the cast list.
He's not in it, and neither is, as far as I know, he's not in it, and neither is Olivia Munn. Is that
That's a
Olivia Munn?
shame. That's such a shame.
Yeah, I don't understand. The thing that makes me mad, and I'm going to go on this rant here, because is the fact that we were promised Cillian Murphy
Yeah,
as Dillinger 2.0.
yeah. And I don't know if you noticed on that leaked shot that they released from Tron Ares, the backpack actually says Dillinger on it.
Ooh, no.
The red picture of, if it's Ares or whatever, on the name disc it says Dillinger. If you zoom in.
Oh. So I have a little story here, because as we know, in this scene, we do get Cillian Murphy as Dillinger's son, which, again, angry. But I interviewed Cillian Murphy for a movie called Red Lights.
Yeah.
Like right after this came out, Red Lights came out, and I got to talk to him about. I asked him specifically about this, and he said he asked to be in it. He didn't know what they were going to make him. He's just like, I just want to be in this because I'm a huge fan of the original film.
That's
And
cool.
so, yeah, and so he was like, oh, I'm going to be Dillinger's son, like David Warner's child. And there he is. And so when I was talking to him, I asked him, I'm like, are you going to come back for the sequel? Because I want you in black and red piping, And he goes,
Yeah.
I would love to be in the sequel. So
Yeah.
we were denied. We were denied, people.
Actually, Lizard Man's saying something here, and he's maybe foreshadowed. Maybe they foreshadowed something in the real world here, saying, "Is it wise to call your company N anything in this day and age? It's a complete disaster."
Good point.
I mean, yes, I'm an IT consultant, etc. But strange enough, I can enjoy this film because it doesn't pretend anything's that realistic within it. I get frustrated by computer films that are so ludicrous. Like Hackers irritates me. I can't watch that film.
My husband used to dabble in the hacking world a little bit. Nothing mad, but
Yeah.
he loves Tron. He can't
Yeah.
stand hackers. It's
Yeah,
the
I'm
same
exactly the
thing.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an IT guy too, and he loves this. He thinks this is cool as hell, but he can't stand that movie made him laugh so much.
Yeah. I can't I don't like Hackers. I can't stand Goldeneye for the hacking stuff. And the worst computer hacking type film I've ever seen that irritated me so much was Untraceable.
Oh, what about the crap they do in the Fast and the Furious movies?
Oh, that's almost fun. That's fantastical. Some of that. Let's not get into that. Honestly. But I don't know if I asked you this question because Dom and I came up with our ultimate movie. We came up with $1 billion movie franchise reboot. I don't know if you know about this.
No.
Okay, so what we said was, imagine
So-
this: a xenomorph ship full of eggs crashes into Jurassic Park.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they have to send in the Fast and Furious team to solve it. We call it Jurassic Furious. We said it would make a $1 billion.
God. But what would Keanu Reeves do?
He has
John Wick has to come
John
along
Wick.
because they
John
need
Wick
the extra
has to
power.
rescue Vin Diesel. But you tell me you do not want to see Dom and his Charger racing away from a Xeno T-Rex hybrid.
I would watch the hell out of that. Oh my God.
It's our ultimate
Yes.
movie we came up with.
Well done. No, that needs to happen.
Yeah. When is the Hackers Watch Party happening, Calbo? It's not. However, next week we are watching my favourite hacker movie, which is Sneakers.
Ooh, Sneakers.
It's a great
Man.
film.
So when is the Hackers Watch Party?
It's not happening.
I mean, we could do a whole thing where we tie Andrew up and like put him in that Clockwork Orange chair where his eyes are like made to stay open, and just have him be the watch party feed, and everyone take bets on how long it takes him to blow his brains out.
See if I can bite my own tongue off and swallow it to choke myself to death or something. Again, though, this is, and I don't know if this is just of the era or whatever, this is so similar to The Dark Knight with kind of the big panoramic city shots and...
It's really well done too, because like I said, it makes you think about the grid itself. They really went with that aesthetic, and it's really neat. Oh yeah. So when he Calbot says, when I heard Jared Leto was in Ares, I knew it had already gone off the rails.
Yeah. Yeah. Plutonium Show, movie music was better.
The thing with Ares that I'm really bummed about is that it looks like, for the most part, going by that trailer in the reality. And that's not what I go to a Tron movie for.
No. No. I like the idea of the batons that turn into the different vehicles or equipment.
Yeah, no, I go to a Tron movie for the grid. Also, I will keep saying my ongoing gripe about Tron, which is I want Tron in my Tron, and I don't get Tron in my Tron.
No, there's not a great deal of Tron in Tron, is there?
No, it should have been called Flynn.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially in Tron Ares, if there's no Tron at all in it.
Yeah, Roxleitner's not in it, as far as I know. So, and even in this, they turn Tron into Rinsler, and it's like...
Hang on. Some of the audience may not have seen this.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I think we're okay. We've got the 14-year kind of head start on this.
I'm sorry. Could have been titled Trough.
Trough. I just love the fact you've got such a cool kind of house.
Yeah, it's one of those shipping container houses. I love his dog.
Yeah.
He doesn't even unwrap the hamburger he gives him for food. He just leaves it in the wrapper.
What's kind of nice is, though, because he's actually incredibly wealthy, but it doesn't interest him. I mean, he's probably a multi-billionaire from his father.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. But he's got a nice motorcycle and a sweet Leia, but, you know...
I also have to take a moment, and I hope they do this, but I doubt they will, for Ares and dedicate the movie to her, but Cindy Morgan passed away last year. So that
And
That's
David Warner would be nice as well.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And we lost two of the main leads.
yeah. One of my friends actually, oh gosh, about 20 years ago, he just finished university and he got some work locally as an extra in a BBC TV movie they were recording, and David Warner was there on set, and he said David Warner was lovely to all the extras, to the cast and crew. He would hang with the extras, talk to them, and regale them. He'd hold court and tell stories to all of them, and he was apparently wonderful. He'd sit there smoking his cigars, telling them stories. He said it was quite a magical time.
I just interviewed we're totally not talking about the movie, guys. I just interviewed Malcolm McDowell for a piece that's going to be in I think one of the an upcoming magazine, and we were talking about Time After Time,
Mm.
and we started talking about David Warner, and he just got this look in his eye, and he spent the next 10 minutes just talking about how amazing David Warner was and how he was the Beatles uh, Hamlet, because he had the
Yeah.
long hair, and he waxed poetical about David Warner's wife for a while. There was some envy there.
I
um,
know Patrick Stewart absolutely adored him.
oh, everybody, he just
Yeah.
so much love for him. Just he seemed like such a neat guy, and David Warner was one of those guys that, yes, Immortal Remus, I do believe he was one of the cool ones.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that if he hadn't shown up in something I liked, he eventually would.
Yeah.
That just, this is how he was. He would just show up in everything. And
Oh,
now they
what
have action figures of him from Time Bandits, which I think is amazing.
Eric's saying, what city would this be in? Is it
San Francisco?
Seattle, maybe?
It may be Seattle. You know, that seems right with
'Cause
the
I'm thinking with a
weather.
computer vibe as well.
Yeah, the weather, the next to the water, Metro
Yeah.
City. Hell if I know, keep saying Metro City.
Yeah, it'll be Metro City.
Oh, that dog's cute.
Oh, he's drinking his generic beer.
Yeah. So, fun story about a drunken night in San Diego Comic-Con. This is the only movie they've recreated or done promotion for. I believe they did it 3 times in San Diego for this film. And they had a basically a scavenger hunt where if you were on Twitter and you followed the feed, you would eventually get the location of where Flynn's was in San Diego. And they had taken this location and put that sign out of it, and they recreated the entire arcade inside this building.
Oh, that's cool.
And my friends and I, we were a little happy, and we turned a corner, and I see the sign, and I just grabbed the guy with me that I knew was a Tron fan, and I grabbed him, and I'm like, it's Friends! And we just ran. We left everybody. We were like, you're on your own. We ran to the arcade, and we get in there, and it looks just like this. They had
Oh, that's
recreated
so
this whole
cool.
set, and over in the corner, just like this, was the Tron machine with the sign and everything. And all the machines had, like, the high score was FLN. So Flynn had high scored everything there. And so you go in and you had your token like this, and you would put it in the machine and you'd play. But as you're doing it, you'd hear this sound, and the lights would flicker in the building. And so then all of a sudden you'd look around and you'd turn back, and the Tron machine was gone, just like this, and there was a doorway behind it just like this. And you go back in there, and they had a full life-size light cycle
Oh,
in
wow.
that room, and it was on a dais that was turning, and it was amazing. Like, they had all the artwork for the designs for it on the walls, and then as you left, you could pick a shirt. And the next year they did it, they had like coin purses with all the tokens. Uh, and I can't remember what the next one was, but they really went all out for this. This is
Yeah.
back in the days when San Diego Comic-Con went full tilt boogie when it came to making really cool
So
stuff.
cool though. It's so cool.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
the vibe of retro. I mean, I've been to some retro arcades recently, and the only thing I think they're missing, one I went to did something quite good. They did have a dry ice smoke machine that would occasionally add out a little bit of smoke, because arcades back in the 80s and the 90s always had a mist from people smoking in them.
Yep.
And of course, they don't do that now, which is a good thing. But for the atmosphere, it needs that little bit of haze in the environment.
Yep. I remember. Oh, man, I can remember the smell.
Yeah.
It was carpet and slight tinge of BO because everybody was sweating.
Yeah.
And typically fried food of some sort.
So this is actually fairly accurate. This is actually some kind of Unix. This is some Unix variant. It's saying Solaris there. So yeah, it's fairly accurate. The kind of the uptime indicator, etc.
This is neat.
Yeah.
Like the high school girls' bathroom maze. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, plutonium shell. This is a Unix system. I know this. So this is a nice throwback to the original that we see. We've got the same kind of the
gun
same laser.
or the
Yeah.
laser. Yeah.
Do you know what, Jedi Wizard? You don't want one. Trust me. You don't want a keyboard that it doesn't move. Typing on a flat surface with no give in it hurts your fingers. I've tried keyboards and things like a few years ago. Someone released a projection keyboard, and you project it on your desk, and you could type.
That would drive
on
me
the
crazy.
surface. It's awful. It hurts your fingers after a while because there's no give to the surface.
I need that feedback. I need something
Yeah.
that, like, that tactile thing.
Yeah, well, when I bought my keyboard, the first of the keyboards I bought was another one. I've got quite a nice mechanical keyboard, but I've got one with silent switches on it. The one I had before, I only had for 2 days before my wife told me, if you don't change the keyboard, I'm going to smash it around your head.
Yeah, I remember when we saw
So
this in the
cool.
theater, and my
So
husband
cool.
just lost his mind when the tank showed up. He just was like, "There it is!"
Oh, that's very cool. Mad Matt managed an arcade at the mall from 1987 to 2008.
Oh, wow. Doing the Lord's work.
Hell if I know. You say my main gripe with this flick is it doesn't look like they're in a computer. It looks like they're in an Apple store with neon lights. The first film had a more iconic. I guess so. They needed to update the look quite significantly from the first movie.
Well, the first one, it was painted.
It wasn't really CGI, was it?
Yeah, they painted, like, the suits were honestly just all white, and they digitally or paint, or maybe I have to remember if they did it by hand, but
It was by hand. Yeah, it was basically an animated movie.
Yeah, exactly, and it was shot in black and white.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'll say, yes, it looks a lot cooler than the original, but I'll also go with, we're talking the technology of the grid has possibly moved on a bit more, so maybe the graphics have got better as well. I think as well with the technology that they had to make this, I think this probably looks a lot more how they would have wanted it, because back then they would have struggled to do all the laser lights, the shadowing, the weather.
Yeah.
It was beyond the technology at the time.
Yeah, and the amount of work that went into the post-production on this was crazy, because they only spent like 2 months shooting, and then the post-production was like 63 weeks.
Wow. Wow. And I'll be honest,
So
it did okay at the box office. I mean, it cost 170 million to make, but it took 400 million, so it
it
wasn't a
doubled,
flop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that more people found it later too. Like
Yeah.
it's really found more of an appreciation at this point, thanks to Disney Plus having it on, and just people getting more and more into tech.
Yeah, I think this film is. I know they say films are ahead of their time. The first one was, and I think this one was. I think this one would have done better if this had been released now.
Exactly. Rather than Aries.
Yeah, exactly. This is so cool, though. The whole. I just think the world is brilliant. I just.
It's really pretty how they do it.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, watching this, I think you can thank Tron Legacy for a lot of the visual aesthetic that Denis Villeneuve used for Dune. Like, look
Yeah.
at this. This is Harkonnen right here.
Oh,
I mean,
this is such a gorgeous looking film, and the CGI and everything blends so well, with the exception of the uncanny stuff, which we'll get to later.
yeah.
But this kind of stuff looks absolutely tremendous. Every shot like this looks like a storyboard come to life.
Freemium version of Dungeon Keeper.
Wow, Eric, a Tron Disc War VR game.
Oh, yeah. I'm down.
I love this, the way they're sort of getting him all his.
Suited up.
Yeah.
Can I get one of their serial numbers? Nice.
Yeah, Multimus, that's true. When you think about it, the way the original Tron looked in 82 is probably how they would have looked if they attempted real life back in 82 compared to when this film came out, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before the stream started about like the games that came from Tron. And I mean, I don't even want to know how many quarters I put into the Disc Wars and all of that, but I love Tron 2.0, and if you have Steam, you can actually get that now on there, and it will play on your computer. It's from 2002, and it's probably one of my favorite tie-in video games ever, because it
Yeah.
really keeps that aesthetic.
I mean, is Tron possibly one of the first Snake games?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because everyone must remember when you had your Nokia phones, everyone played Snake.
Yep. I remember Snake.
I kind of think the new suits look really cool. The others
I
looked
love
almost they look kind of Greek Roman in the first movie. Some of them with the togas.
Yeah, they were the gladiator type
Yeah.
things. I think that was part of it. But I love these suits in this.
Yeah, they're
They
very
did
kind of
a
like
lot.
motorcycle armor.
Yeah, they did a lot of tie-in clothing when this came out, and today you can even get light up motorcycle jackets like this. They actually make
Yeah.
them now that are based on this thing
You can actually buy jackets and trousers and various
at Disney.
things at Disney that have that pattern on it, but they don't light up.
I wore out. I actually had a Tron Legacy hoodie when this came out that had the design on it. I wore that thing out. Like, I wore that all the time.
Can't blame you.
Oh, it was great. It was a nice hoodie. My husband had an idea for this. He said that it should have been Clue or what or the original. It wasn't Clue. It was the original program that came back to get revenge against Sam, or not Sam, but for Flynn, for leaving him there to die.
Yeah, the
Basically.
original. You mean the original Clue?
Yeah, the original
Yeah.
Clue, and
Yeah.
but they did this whole kind of, I don't know if you
In
call it,
2.
yeah, retroactive or retconning
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, because you could have had it because effectively Clue was effectively the first son.
Derez. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I think that this is a very cool update to the sort of the disc
Oh
fights in the
yeah, and I
original
like the
film.
derezzing thing. I like how they become
Yeah.
like little cubicles. All those years of playing disc golf come into play. Finally, everyone that mocked me can bite my butt now.
That would be cool, Immortal Remiss. It'd be cool if they made a Tron open world RPG game where you can create your own character with a main quest and side quests. But there
Again,
was,
Tron 2.0. It would be a great game for you. I'm just
yeah.
saying that's a really good one, and
Well,
basically
Disney
is that.
Disney Infinity also had Tron figures for it.
Yeah, I actually have those. I
Mm.
was really excited about them too because they also have Tron World in. I want to say the oh shoot, what's it called? I'm blanking on the name. The key one, the key games. I'm a horrible person. I can't remember the name of the games.
I can't.
One moment.
Actually, Disney Infinity is one of the games that made me feel the most vindicated ever because it had a power up in the game from a red-headed stepchild of a Disney film, and there was a Condor Man power up in the game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's
Oh
a
my
Condor
god,
Man power up in the game.
Condor Man!
You can get Condor Man wings for your
Kingdom
characters so they
Hearts!
can fly.
Thank you, Edward the Black Prince. Kingdom Hearts had Tron in it.
Yes.
Thank you. I was like, what is the name of the one with the keys? So yeah, they had that in there, and I thought that was the coolest damn thing. I can't believe they had a Condor Man nod in something. Oh my lord. I thought I was
Condor.
the only person that remembered that.
Oh, I love Condor Man, but
Oliver Reed and Michael Crawford. He's the
but
Phantom of the Opera kid.
but but if I say to you the scene with the black cars and the Condor Mobile and the truck, best scene in a movie ever.
Condor Man. Do,
Oh
do,
yeah.
do, do.
Why is it,
I
it's
used to
not
have
on.
the comic books. I had the comic books of Condor Man.
Oh, it's not on
Oh,
Disney Plus. It's
Rinsler.
a crime. He's so cool with his 2 discs.
He's totally a nod to Darth Maul. I mean, come
Oh
on.
yeah.
How is that even legal? And then here's your Labyrinth nod.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh, but
badass.
actually, when you realise something from the beginning of the film, if you look at Rinsler, you can see a certain pattern on his uniform.
Yep.
Kind of reveals. Hell if I know, saying in Aries the bad guy will have 3
3
discs.
discs. You don't want to know how he twirls the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I dread to think how Jared Leto has been on the set of that movie for them.
I don't. God, I just.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I'm just gonna say how mad I was when I saw that trailer.
Yeah. Also, can we appreciate that some poor person on set had to be cleaning reflections off some of these, cleaning smudges off a lot of these surfaces on some of the practical items there.
Oh, blood. If that voice didn't give it away either.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that I did not realize until I watched this again, because this dude is another one that shows up in everything I watch. That is James Frayne. That's Spock's dad from Discovery right
Is
there.
it? Right.
And he's got his head shaved, and he had to he bleached his eyebrows for this role. But
He
that's him.
looks, yeah, but he looks so Dune.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But he shows up in literally everything. Typically, he dies horribly in them too. So he's on the Sean Bean track for dying in everything that he's in.
Oh, oh no, no.
Oh, there it is.
Do you know what? You know, people say about correcting films, correcting CGI with modern technology. I'd be fine if on Disney Plus they fixed this.
I think they should. I mean,
They've got the technology now.
get the guy that they brought in that was a fan that they had do the Luke Skywalker better
Yeah,
in the second season of
yeah.
The Mandalorian and
Mandalorian.
have him fix it.
Well, or you use the team who did the,
Starman.
or the people who did Michael Douglas's face in Ant-Man 2.
Or Robert Downey Jr.'s face in Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Or Civil War.
Silver. Yeah.
You know, he said he just reminded me. He goes, "It's Starman," and I'm like, I wonder if that's what the little balls were a nod to.
Maybe.
That would have been funny. I love
Eric's
the
saying,
quote.
I'd just like to see his mate in the grid. That's why he looks so CGI.
Yeah,
the technology couldn't render him properly.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I went with to like help my brain deal with it.
Yeah. Miss Swift is saying, I loved Starman.
It is a good one.
It is a good movie. I even watched the TV show and I liked it.
I loved Robert Hayes in that. Oh my god.
And the soundtrack, the theme to the TV show is great.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I watched the hell out of that show.
Yeah. With the young Christopher Daniel Barnes as the son.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Aaron Gray ended up being Jenny in it.
Yeah, that got a bit strange. It's definitely Disney with all the fireworks.
Yep. Been running in the arcade basement. Probably got a Riva TV tuner version. Yes, Immortal Remus. There was a Starman TV series back in the late 80s with Robert Hayes. It was on ABC, and I think it made it for 2 seasons.
One, I think, on 13 episodes or something, I think it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't popular, suffice to say.
They played it on, I think it was on Friday nights, which was like the death knell for any show back then.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it.
I watched it, so ha. Remember what's it called? Oh God, how am I not remembering stuff today?
Don't tell me a TV show with the
Automan.
words. Automan. Oh, I loved Automan.
Automan.
But Automan was direct tribute to Tron. They said.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The actually had the actor who played him. I did a retrospective on fangirlmag.com about that show, and he saw it and actually commented on it. Chuck Wagner, man, oh, he was pretty. And yeah, Desi Arnaz Jr. It was so good.
Yeah,
I love that show. I wish I'd bought the toys.
It was really funny. There's actually, if I remember right, it's either the last episode of Street Hawk or it's the last episode of Street Hawk.
Did they cross over? That would have been great.
Kind of. There's a scene where you see the two you see Desi and you see Automan and Desi walking in the background in a scene, just in a scene in it, apparently.
I have to go back and watch because Street Hawk is also my jam. Rex Smith is the first on-screen Daredevil.
Yes. He was.
Oh my!
Oh, this is so cool, the Battens. They don't sell the Battens in Disney World even just as a prop.
It was so cool.
I love the fact he thinks it's like a
He thinks it's something
lightsaber.
not that.
Yeah.
Oh, you leave your family out of it, man. Just you leave the family, go watch the finale of Starman. That's what you do. That's the
Yeah.
choice. You leave the family. Oh, I would have. My little geek heart would have blown up if Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard had crossed over.
Well, they kind of do.
When?
There's an episode of Knight Rider where Kit jumps over an orange charger.
Oh my god, I have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, there's an episode of Knight Rider where Kit jumps over it and it's driven by two good old boys running the car on moonshine.
Oh, this is awesome.
This is so cool.
Yeah, this is another point where me and my husband were like screaming in the theater.
Yeah. What's really cool is on the Tron ride, they have the light cycles that most people ride on. But if you have trouble getting onto the light cycle, because it's a bit of an awkward ride to go on, you're very much like that. You're kneeling on the ride
the whole time. Yeah.
You're kneeling and like you're riding a motorcycle. But if you have like some mobility problems or something like that, they have light runners at the back of some of the trains. The car that she rescues him in. So you get to sit in the grid runner. Sorry, the grid runner.
Oh, that's so cool.
No, the light runner. Light runner, yeah. They've got light runners at the back so people can sit in the light runner if they don't want to go on the motorcycle.
Oh, I have to go on the motorcycle though. I don't care how bad my knees were.
Yeah. Yeah, Lizardman's saying about the Akira slide.
Well, I did notice there is a Wilhelm scream in this too.
Yeah. I've not seen this for quite a while actually, but so much has come back to me. The things behind the motorcycles, they call them the light walls, don't they? And you can turn the light walls off and on.
Yep. Do they have those in the ride somehow?
Yes, they do. But the idea is you're on two teams. You're on the blue team, and there's another team you're fighting against. And the way it works is when you go inside the main, you go out on an outside bit, then you go into the main bit, and effectively they've got screens, and your team is racing against them, and you keep butting up against them. And it's all projecting stuff around you on the roller coaster, so it's pretty immersive. And it's also playing the Daft Punk soundtrack.
As it should.
Yeah. I think this is also quite a nice update to the original, because in the original, the light cycle races were just on a flat arena, but now we're seeing it's multiple
Tri-level
levels.
And all of that. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see blue, like a purple one of these. I do like the fact that they do give more variety, and you get to see. You only got a little bit of a nod of this in the original movie, but I love Castor because Michael Sheehan is God, and he is so fantastic in this. And he's another one like Cillian Murphy. I love how it's all the UK peeps. They wanted to be in this and were begging to be in it for free. They didn't care, and Michael Sheehan said he didn't care what it was. He didn't care how much they paid him. He wanted to be in this movie. And his agents apparently told him, don't tell them that because they won't pay you anything. But he got to be in it. And when I went to the press conference for this at San Diego, I asked him specifically, did you just take this role to come to Comic-Con? And he just he giggled and he goes, no comment.
Wow. He's Mike Sheen, of course, he's just he's from literally about 20 minutes away from where I live.
That's insane.
Amazing. The Doctor Who studios are 15 minutes from my house.
See, I think he lives there specifically for that, because he wanted to be Doctor Who so bad, and David Tennant was literally scared that he would lose to him.
Oh, the problem is even the head's not mapped brilliantly. It was bouncing up and
It
down when he
doesn't
was.
match.
It's a
And
shame
it's
because the rest
worse.
of this is so good.
It's worse on TV screens and things where you can see it more than you did in the theater too, because you
Yeah.
can see just how off it is. But again, if it hadn't been for this, we wouldn't have the tech that we have now.
No, that's true. But all this stuff just looks so cool.
Oh yeah,
And I like the fact. I
that
like the
right
fact as
there.
well. Rinsler's got a spare staff on him, or baton, or whatever they call them in this.
Made it.
Lieutenant Shaw saying, "Does that thing have a Hemi?" Well, I guess they're all electric vehicles in this, aren't they?
Oh, I love that you got to see the engine in there too.
Yeah, I like the fact that kind of the engine opens up.
It's hilarious to me after rewatching this again, just how thirsty he is for Sam.
Yeah. And Olivia Wilde, who,
Yeah, I kept calling her Olivia Munn. Olivia Wilde, thank you.
yeah,
Edward the Black Prince would.
yeah. I've got to say one thing though, with about Olivia Wilde, I really feel sorry for her because Jason Sudeikis, I'm sorry, is a dick. I'm sorry. Did you not see what happened a few years ago?
I've there's been a lot of stuff that happened in
She was on
'cause
stage at a convention.
she was the
Uh,
one that got the papers
she,
served to her on stage, right?
yes, yes. I
Yeah,
mean
I remember
that's
that.
yeah,
That's tacky.
yeah,
Very tacky. Yeah, I remember that was at at
CinemaCon.
Vegas. That was at CinemaCon in Vegas.
Yeah, this is cool. I love. He's so zen as well. I just love kind of the hippie factor of him. He's kind of
Yeah.
all. He's very Buddhist and
And I love how it's all white. Like that just
yeah.
is neat. Like
I
the
also like the fact you
purity.
can see he's got his vintage light cycle.
I know. And that's what's cool about this is that's the color the suits actually wore
Yeah,
in that they were filming in too, which was neat. Flynn is recharging.
yeah,
He really is the dude in real life, Immortal Remus, because most of those clothes were his that he wore in Lebowski.
yeah. I mean, his dad was super cool as well. Lloyd was just so cool.
Was it Sea Hunt that he was in?
I just thinking of all his comedy roles
Oh
he
yeah,
did.
he was a lot like Leslie Nielsen. He ended up
Yeah,
going from being serious to all comedy. Look, I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
yeah. Because his father had the most age-inappropriate relationship ever in Battlestar Galactica. If you remember, he was Commander Kane of the Pegasus, and he was dating Cassiopeia.
That's right. Oh my god. Well, I mean, Kirk Douglas and Farrah Fawcett in
Saturn 3. Yeah. The only thing we don't see is what have they done with Bo these days? Where's Bo Bridges gone? No one's seen him for.
he is in if it go into the realm of piracy, he is in one of my favorite pirate films of all time, Swashbuckler. And if you haven't seen or heard of Swashbuckler, it's quite possibly the best pirate film ever made. And that's keeping Pirates of the Caribbean too. Because Robert Shaw is Ned Lynch, and he is a badass. And it's got him, James Earl Jones, Peter Boyle, Angelica Houston, and Beau Bridges, and Genevieve Bujold in a pirate movie.
Wow, that's a cast.
It's oh my god. And his name, the name of his ship is the Blarney Cock.
Well, we've got someone in the chat saying, when was the last time we saw, is it Jordan Bridges?
Jordan Bridges.
Was it Jordan Bridges? Miss Swift
Oh,
has
there. Lloyd Bridges' character was dating Cassiopeia.
Cassio. Well, correction. Yes, exactly, Calvert. She was a solicitor. Yeah, she was an escort. But they changed that from the movie version to the TV show, and she became a nurse.
I haven't seen Beau Bridges though. Maybe his eyebrows finally took over completely, and he was
Well,
in
can't-
Stargate though, wasn't he? In the series.
Might have been. I think the last thing I remember
Yeah,
was the wizard.
Yeah. Plutonium Shore said, I can't remember seeing Beau in anything since Stargate. I haven't either. I think he was in an episode of Outer Limits.
He's done quite a lot of stuff that no one's ever seen. Looking at this. So, did Flynn load all these books into the computer just as works in there? Or are they from his memory?
Well, I was trying to figure out too how he made food.
Well, I suppose if we think it's very Matrixy, if he's kind of a bit like Neo in there, Flynn is.
Yeah.
Because he can bend the world to his will, can't he? It's been established. Okay.
Yeah, both Lloyd and Beau Bridges were in the first episode. Yeah, of the Outer Limits. That's right, the Sand Kings. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Immortal Remus. I just think Jeff Bridges looks so badass in this as old Flynn. I mean, he just looks great.
It's so cool. And the fact they're eating suckling pig, which seems quite...
I know.
Oh, God. Mad Matt, when your DoorDash order is incomplete, Flynn eats.
That's canon now.
Yeah. I've got to admit, one of the things I like about some of these movies is I like the cutlery and tableware. I really like those kind of square goblets they've got. They're kind of cool.
I love how they design the drinks too. How they're all just glowy. It just is neat. I love that. By the way, if you haven't watched, Jeff Bridges has an amazing series on FX called The Old Man that he's in with John Lovitz and John Lovitz. Good Lord, it is not John Lovitz.
No,
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
This is I need more caffeine, but it's fantastic.
It appears you're drinking the same stuff as them.
Yeah, it's exactly right. The blue goo. There you go. It's Baja Blast in the grid. That's what it is.
Oh, I like this. The flashback is kind of done like a CRT screen.
Yeah, and I like that we get Bruce Boxleitner younged up too.
Yeah, and he actually looks a bit better than
Flynn.
Yeah.
Yes, it is coming soon.
Yeah, Tron did lose his toga. He got the kind of the leather motorcycle outfit as well.
I love that it is ISOs. That's an actual thing too. They really did put a little, like thought into this.
Yeah. It's also, what's nice is because the computer has no connection to the internet. So the computer system has formed in isolation as
Yeah.
technology has moved on.
See, that's why I think Ares is probably they'd be unless it's I don't have a lot of hope, but I'm hoping that they look into the whole World Wide Web thing with
Yeah.
this in there. Do you think in the world of Tron, whenever there's a systems update, it's like getting a huge storm for them? Hmm.
Interesting. I
Okay.
don't know. Is it like going to sleep and their world is rearranged?
Yeah, like that's a dream is an update for them. Like they feel the need
Yeah.
to sleep. Do androids dream of electric sheep? We don't
I
know.
like so just going back to a really nice effect I've never noticed before. The fireplace where it's burning, you're seeing the
But
logs are
yeah,
gradually de-resing.
yeah. I like that if you looked at the couch that she's on, it also looks like it's made of clear plastic, but it's got that antique look to it.
Yeah.
Pixel fire, exactly.
I find it very strange that obviously he created Clue, but he dressed Clue identically to him.
Yeah, he basically made a copy of himself.
Yeah. The idea was to run things in his absence, but was it that Clue was people supposed to believe it was him? Oh, this is where it gets really terrible.
Yeah, this is really one of the worst parts. Thank you for putting the helmet on.
Yeah.
Well, there's all the Tron I get in my Tron.
Yeah, for now. Now we know how Rinza got his second disc.
Yep. Yep.
But this is actually a throwback to the first movie, because Clue's ability in the first movie was he could infiltrate and repurpose programs.
Yeah.
And Tron is a program.
Yeah, Calbot's making a point about that the programs look like their makers, and that's why he looks like Flynn. I think it's more the point that he dresses like Flynn too in
Yeah.
this up until he goes bad.
Yeah.
See, it is clear. That's neat. I like that. Tron Uprising was great.
Yeah, the animated Tron Uprising was brilliant.
So, for those of you that are too young to remember, there was a mini Tron reunion TV series back in the early 80s called Bring 'em Back Alive that had Cindy Morgan and Bruce Boxleitner in it, and it was one of two inspired by Indiana Jones TV shows that came out at that time. The other is Tales of the Gold Monkey that we don't talk about. There's a reason.
There was also, I'm just remembering, was it? Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't quite that. But Bruce Boxleitner also returned to the world of geekdom in Chuck. If you remember, he was Captain Awesome's dad.
Yep. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to watch Scarecrow and Mrs. King like a lunatic too. Oh my gosh.
I'll never forget the line in Chuck when the two guys from the Bymore are singing at the wedding, the two kind of really rough guys. And he says, "Why are you letting Sam Kinison and an Indian lesbian destroy the wedding?"
Sam Kinison and India.
Brilliant. So funny.
I always got this guy messed up with Jensen Ackles.
Yes.
They really need to play twins or something in a movie.
I like the fact that Cora in this is kind of quite naive.
He is. she's
Yeah.
very innocent.
Yeah. I like the fact as well that the only way that that system can reach externally is by using a pager. There's no way to email him. There's no knowledge of anything more modern.
Exactly. And that's actually smart too. That's another little bit of this that I liked.
Yeah. I think everyone had a pager in the late 90s, in the early 90s as well. I had one. It was awful. I just remember.
Remember the codes that people would send each other for certain things?
I just remember receiving pages and just not wanting to ring the number to speak to the person on the end of the phone to call them back. And
That's the wonder of text now, kids.
yeah,
Text is the best thing ever.
yeah.
God, I
don't
miss
know.
the 90s.
I don't know actually. Because at least people applied some element of a filter when they had to dictate a page to a woman on minimum wage on the end of the phone. There was an element of an internal filter applied.
My husband used to have a pager back when he worked in IT. Like he
Hmm.
was a network administrator for a company in New York, and those were the days.
Oh dear.
He really does have that Sam Winchester hair,
Yeah.
or Dean Winchester hair, I should say. She's so thirsty for Sam Flynn.
Oh, definitely. He's a handsome man. I mean, every photo looks like every still of them. Dear.
It's the Dean Winchester thing.
He's even got a wooden door to his bedroom in the.
Yeah. I don't know why, but this reminded me of Diabolique, Danger Diabolique, this whole Windows water thing.
That's interesting, Immortal. As he's saying paging and texting along with mobile phone annoying because I prefer a time when no one could get hold of you and just have peace.
Yeah. It's missing the little bump that would make it the true manhandle hairdo. When in 1920. Exactly. So I found out a little piece of trivia. She did a lot of her own stunts in this. And she did them all. She trained for it. And then she found out that they were going to be forcing her to wear heels with this costume. If you look, she has like boots, like heels that are pretty high. And so she had to relearn everything in those shoes.
Wow.
And if you look at them, they're not small. They're stiletto. Like there's
Yeah.
stuff that not make them uncomfortable, but they're high up.
I think this film actually might have the dubious honour of being the newest film covered on a watch party to date.
Oh wow! Yeah, I was surprised when Dom Rip having a baby right now. But,
no, he's not. No,
well,
they're not having the baby. They're getting ready. Yeah, they're having a baby shower today.
But when he said that this was it, I was like, it hit me that that's pretty new.
Well, it's not. That's the crazy thing.
Don't remind me of that.
No, that's the crazy thing. When you look at it and you go, it's 14 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It'd be starting junior high right now if it was a baby.
I'll tell you about when I saw this at the cinema on the first screening. Actually, I swore very loudly because it was on Boxing Day in the UK, 26th of December. So in the UK, as you know, we have Boxing Day, so everyone's off work.
Yeah.
I went to the cinema to see this. Very packed screening, really enjoying it, and we have what I call cinema etiquette, where people have to do behave in theatres in a certain way. One guy had brought a giant shopping bag full of, and I know you guys do have them now, individual bags of potato chips in different flavours. Like they'd emptied like 3 or 4 multi-packs of them into this big bag and brought it in with them. And there was a family of 4 of them there.
Oh
And
my
they were
God.
looking for specific flavours for about 5 minutes in this shopping bag full of bags of potato chips. And it was just rustle, 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 rustle. Can I have cheese and onion? Yeah. Rustle, rustle, rustle.
Oh my
rustle,
God.
5 minutes. And I actually went, for F's sake, really loudly. It was not even like a crunching of a nacho. It was, they were hunting there must have been 50 bags of potato chips in this bag. They were hunting for a
Jesus
particular
Christ.
flavour in.
I mean, I might have gotten arrested if that had been me there. So you
Yeah.
were more in tune than me there. But the story, I have a story that's similar to that. We went and saw Batman and Robin
Oh, God.
in New York when we were living there, and it was, I mean, respect. We saw it in like a 3rd run theater, and this group in front of us, these 4 people, brought an entire Chinese dinner. They snuck in an entire Chinese dinner, plates and all, and were spreading it out. And they looked back at us and they were like, "You want some?" And we were like, "No, we're good." But we're like, "Good on you!" Like they were eating the whole thing. I'm like, "That's okay. That's game. You have game on that."
Well, the theatre I go to now has just been kind of done out. It's now you've got recliners and you've got a table on every seat. And we went a few months ago to see something, and a woman and a husband, they pulled out loads of Tupperware, a bottle of wine and glasses, and they set out like canapes on the table, like with little dishes of olives and things. And they had
That's
like
amazing.
a charcuterie board.
That's great.
I just thought, yeah, why not?
See, old Johnny Devick, Cyberpunk 2077. Again, Tron 2.0. I'm telling you, if this makes you want to play that, you want to play that game. It's so good.
Yeah.
It still holds up.
And I'm just going to say to everyone watching now, we are about to hear in the next few minutes possibly the best track off the soundtrack, Derezzed.
He's right. Look at him. Look at those gods. Speaking of gods, here comes Michael Sheehan as his rendition of David Bowie.
Yeah.
There he is.
He is so...
He's so great. I love him so much. He's one of those morpher guys. It's crazy to me.
No, he's an incredible actor who can just become anybody.
I love his description of this. He said he based him on David Bowie and a little bit of Frankenfurter and Joel Grey as the master of ceremonies for Cabaret.
Oh. Edward's saying they couldn't afford David Bowie. Was David Bowie still with us in 2010?
Yeah, I think he was. Because when did The Prestige come out?
2009, I think it was.
And he was in that as Tesla.
2008. 2016, David Bowie passed.
Yeah, so he could have done it.
Yeah, I could have done.
I still wanted him to be a Time Lord in Doctor Who so bad. I kind of got it with Peter Capaldi. To this day, I am in awe of the fact that Capaldi's last costume for like his last few episodes look like Bowie's outfit from Black Star.
Oh, there we go. Got a cameo from Daft Punk themselves.
Yep. House of Tron dragons. That would be great. Is that guy from Game of Thrones season 1?
CGI actually looks okay there.
Yeah, there's certain things that he looks good. Like here, it looks good. You know, it's odd.
It's
This
when it
looks
starts
good.
moving.
Yeah. I found out recently that Michael Sheehan is a real Welsh nationalist, obviously wanting independence, but also turning down various honors from the Queen before she passed.
That's right.
Also, Michael Sheehan is one of the only actor, or one of the few actors right now that is a not-for-profit actor. He gives his money away.
He's generally a good guy.
Yeah, he's actually a decent human being.
Yeah.
I love these are it's a bit. It's the two little things. Yes, no. He's such an idiot.
Are they?
Yep,
Because
that's
it's
the bit.
80s. Those things he's got there. Are they Rubik's snakes?
I'm not sure what they are, but they're actually a nod to the shape of the bit. So when it was going yes and no, but I love how he just doesn't know what a book is.
Yeah, that's true, Immortalimus. Considering how bad the CGI has become in some modern films, CGI from this film is near perfection.
I mean, look at what we saw in Mortal Kombat with how they did Lizard compared to this. I thought this was a neat scene. I like this, how he makes him. That's cool that it's a mirror.
Fix the face.
The everlasting gobstopper. That's a good point. It does look like an everlasting gobstopper.
Don't know if you noticed, though, because Clue is a mirror of Flynn in that respect. When they were walking in mirrored footsteps.
Yeah, there's
nice.
I love the little details in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Peter Cushing in Rogue One was pretty fantastic. I will agree. They did a really good job because they found an actor to be under it that looked very similar.
Yeah. Because I've got to be honest, and spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Alien Romulus, the CGI of a certain actor in that I think is a little ropey.
I've heard the rumor.
The voice performance is fine, but the CGI is like, we could do better than this.
Well, Blade Runner 2025 is that am I saying 2045? What is the number? Anyway, the Blade Runner sequel, it didn't do well financially, but it was a goddamn awesome movie.
Oh yeah. I think I'd actually like to see a Villeneuve, going back to Villeneuve, I'd like to see a Villeneuve Tron.
Oh man, can you imagine?
That'd be good.
Oh.
2049.
Thank you, Calbot.
So here's the question: is there a film from who asked this question?
Well, Fight Club. He's in
yeah,
that.
I was going to say Fight Club, maybe, but he's not really the main star of it.
Dallas Buyers Club. He's in that.
American Psycho.
American Psycho. He's in that. Yep.
I think he's referring to one where he's in he's a main character in it. Like a film led by him.
Yeah.
Morbius.
We're You're funny.
There. There we go. About to get the tune.
Oh yeah, baby.
Derez. This tune is just.
Oh, he's so mean.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Swift, let's get derezed.
I love his cane.
Yeah.
And he does the little Charlie Chaplin walk too. Honestly, I don't know of any movie he's been the lead in that's been a massive hit. I mean, he wasn't the lead in Suicide Squad.
No.
Um,
And he was an atrocious Joker, unfortunately.
yeah, I can't think of a single movie. I mean, he was in Prefontaine, but again, that wasn't a massive hit. So, yeah, he really hasn't done anything.
I love the way he's just kind of insane, the nightclub owner.
This is great.
Yeah. This is like, okay, Daddy's here.
Yeah. I love that hooded cloak thing. I want one of those.
Oh, yeah. I actually wanted to go to the Disney Halloween party dressed as Flynn with that cloak. I found I could buy one. But then I realised it was 42 degrees Celsius at the time. I think I'd die.
No. Here we go. Do the Charlie Chaplin. There it is.
No. But that character needs to be
well,
he's got to be chewing scenery, that character, hasn't he? Because it works for him.
Oh, yeah. He's really good at playing those types of characters. But then you have him play something like Lucian in Underworld, and it doesn't even look like the same guy.
No.
And it's crazy. And I found it funny when he was doing the Rise of the Lycans. He had to do ADR for his Frost Nixon movie. So he's all covered in that Lucian look, blood, and he's doing David Frost over a microphone.
Well, he's doing another one of his serious British ones at the moment. He did The Queen, where he played Tony Blair, the Prime Minister, and he was tremendous in that. But he's doing one now where he plays Prince Andrew.
I know, and that's going to be interesting.
He'll be brilliant in it, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting story to see played out.
Yeah. Prince Andrew, who goes to a certain pizza restaurant and doesn't sweat.
I will never forget, there was a BBC series all about the making of Rome and how the history of Rome. Sean Bean was in it, and he played, Sheehan played Nero. And there's a scene of him just losing his mind where he just turns into Satan at one point, and he just does this line read of "Don't you dare!" and it's like the devil is right there. And it's horrifying, and it's just him. It's just his face and his voice. Yeah, they really did a good job making Jeff Bridges look awesome in this.
Oh, they did so much. Oh, the Solar Sailor again.
Yeah, I know. I love that they brought that back.
Yeah.
Like mega sized, but it's still the Solar Sailor. I also like you get more of what the discs are for.
Yeah,
Like,
they're kind of the person.
yeah, like all of their memories and everything are in there.
And also, Flynn, if you notice, is the only one we've ever seen he's able to repair programs.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, I'm
able to
guessing. I'm guessing
access it.
Sam. I'm guessing Sam could do it as well.
Yeah, because he's a right. I mean, there's that connection of the user. They
Yeah.
have the access and all of that.
Mad Matt saying, "Where are the grid bugs?"
Good point.
Old John Devick saying, "I didn't see all the episodes of the animated sequel series." Well, technically, the animated series is a prequel to this, isn't it? Tron.
Tron Uprising. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
Elijah
'cause
Wood's in that too. By the way.
yeah, because he's technically the new Tron in it, isn't
Yeah.
he? You see, now that would have been interesting to see where that story had gone.
I'm surprised they didn't. See, I still haven't played the new game, and I'm wondering if this ties to that because it's more of a story-driven visual novel game
Hmm.
that they released. That came out a couple years ago. That one's Tron Identity, and it's more like a mystery type of thing, like a Telltale game.
Oh dear, Clue will remember you said that. You can tell they're evil because they're red and orange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love the
You,
tanks. Those tanks are so
yeah.
neat.
You want to make something evil, make it red and orange.
Or festive for Halloween. By the way, the toys that came out for this were so badass. I really wanted a caster, but they didn't make anything of him. But
Oh.
the actual figures, you hit a button and their face would come up and it would talk.
Mm-hmm.
So they were pretty badass for the time. I still have them somewhere in here.
Well, you can do if you get yourself to Florida, you can get yourself a Tron figure made of you. They'll scan your face and have you record lines, and you press a button and it repeats your lines.
Oh my god, I have to do that. Because I have the big ones over there too. I've got the
Yeah.
Stark and the Tron original OG ones that were released.
Oh, so he's been on his own since he was 17.
Yeah. You know, Alan was more of a dad to him
Yeah.
than than Flynn was.
John Devick saying this movie's only missing an Ed 209.
By the
You know
way,
what? What
I
I'm going to
got
say
my
about this film, something was saying a lot of watch parties,
clearance.
Jess. Sorry. The pacing of this is excellent. We're nearly 3/4 of the way through the film.
Yeah. No, I realized that it was like over 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel it.
No.
It goes. Like it doesn't waste much time.
Yeah, we had. I think one of the worst paced films we ever watched was Leprechaun. Actually,
Leprechaun.
Dom and I watching Leprechaun, going, "How much is left of this?" It's
Oh god,
89 minutes, but it feels like 3 weeks.
I had to rewatch that for In Search of Darkness the 90s, and oh, it took me 3 or 4 tries to get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying they just released the RoboCop Funko Pops, so I got a
That's
Clarence
cool.
Boddicker with his little smashed glasses and blood, but they made an Ed 209.
Did they
Which
do
is
a
like
Dick Jones? Did they do a Dick Jones one? He's got arms like out here.
no, they didn't, but they should. I'm surprised someone hasn't made one.
It is kind of very Jedi-ish in a way. He's got the kind of these powers
Oh
in
yeah.
the grid, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen some 90-minute true schlocky films that feel like an eternity to get
Yeah.
through. I would say that would be the Crow 2024 that I went to hoping hope and was crushed by my.
I saw Crow City of Angels, the sequel, at the cinema when it came out on its release
I
date.
did too, and that was
I
better.
yeah, I was the only one in the theatre.
Stretch Armstrong, Dick Jones. Hey, there's
Yes,
that idea.
that's what it needs to be.
See, it doesn't look so bad here. It the problem with that new Crow movie was just that the pacing, the editing. You could tell they cut the crap out of it,
Yeah.
and it just FKA Twigs or whatever her name is just can't act at
Oh, dear.
all.
Oh, I love the fact he's given a cocktail with a little glass umbrella.
With a little glass umbrella in it, and it's got little digital ice cubes.
Yeah.
These bad guys never lay. Don't push your luck.
Yeah.
See, that isn't bad. It looks good there.
Yeah.
YouTuber Brendan Tinhold put out a challenge to everyone to try and watch Thanes. I watched Thanes for the Joe Bob marathon that they had with it was VHS, shot on VHS night, and I made it.
Oh, I like this. Calbot's saying the only thing on Flynn's disc is his playlist. It's his Spotify playlist, yeah.
And it's all Daft Punk.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Actually, linking into your last watch party, when I worked at one company, we had a small van that was driven by some of the junior staff. And one of the guys had been going around delivering stuff in this van 20 odd years ago. And when he left his tape in the van. And one side of it was this really hardcore techno he'd recorded off the radio. And the other side of it was 45 minutes of the Mortal Kombat theme on loop.
As it should be.
Yeah.
As God intended. That's hilarious. I think Dom would probably have that played at his funeral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When they lower it in the ground, just everybody will be afraid that I'll pop back out.
I like the fact that Cora looks like her haircut, her fringe looks like she cut it herself in lockdown.
You know what she's got? She's got the Gail Weathers Scream 2 or 3 bangs where she had that horrible haircut. Finish him as the epitaph. It's okay. And in closing, Dom, finish.
They don't do
Was
an
that-
Oscar for computer visual effects, do they? Still, they don't do one, I don't think.
I was laughing at this because I'm like, is he trying to be subtle or like out of the way that they don't notice this giant glowing red
Red thing behind them.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's a case of they're looking forwards, and Flynn is Kevin's very much occupied with whatever he's doing.
He's knocking on the sky.
Yeah. I quite like her kind of childlike wonder at what is the sun. These things she
Yeah,
had described to her.
she does a really good job being like just sweet and innocent,
Yeah.
and yet thirsty. And I like this little scene where he's like seeing that, his kids basically are coming together. That little smile he gets. Oh, thank you for noticing. Finally, like I love that this is a surprise. Things been following him the whole time.
So how big is that?
That's a massive like station
Yeah.
type thing. My son is hot on an algorithm.
I suppose if we look at it from a computer perspective, Clue is almost like
A
he's
cleanup program.
no, he's more of a virus in a way, a
Yeah.
Trojan, because he's
Yeah.
he's infecting and repurposing them.
Well, he like in a way he sees himself as a cleanup program. Like I'm
Yeah.
making it nice. I'm getting everything in order. But yeah, it is he's become a virus.
I like the fact that when Tron has become Rinsler, he's become incredibly athletic.
Exactly. Bruce Boxleitner was like, I won't come back unless I can do this now. Make me into Ray Park.
Yeah. I just love the look of this film. It looks literally, like I said before, like storyboards come to life.
Yeah.
Concept. There's almost no separation between what you think the concept was and what you're seeing on screen.
It's really beautifully done. And I think the guy that directed this was like his first major motion picture. So, which is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, this is the guy who directed Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, so he's very good.
Yeah. After this, he directed Oblivion. Then a film called Only the Brave, which I've never seen or heard of, with Josh Brolin, I'm seeing a bit of some breadcrumbs in his career. After this, he directed Oblivion with Tom Cruise. But then after that, he directed Only the Brave with Josh Brolin, Miles Teller, and Jeff Bridges, and Jennifer Connelly.
There's
And
a
then he
little
made-
bit of a
Yeah. And then Top Gun Maverick. So, yeah.
oh, now it looks bad.
Yeah.
One disc to rule them all. The only thing I can hope is that if Tron Ares does decent, maybe they'll get a Disney Plus series,
Yeah.
which would be nice. Because God knows, if they spent $180 million frickin' dollars on Acolyte, they could
Yeah.
put
They could do
like
some
half
good
that
with Tron.
towards this.
Yeah. Oh, that looked awful then. That
No, it
CGI.
doesn't. I'm not looking at it. So I'm looking over here.
Please fix this. You can find 10 million behind the sofa and just fix the CGI in this movie.
Jesus.
No, not Tron Acolyte, Mad Matt.
No, don't ever. No, don't tarnish Tron with Acolyte. Ugh.
Even that looks bad for some reason.
It's the hair isn't moving. Like
No, I mean even the superimposure of him in front of the crowd looked bad. His body.
which is weird because
That doesn't look right. You see, it doesn't.
his head looks not connect. I don't know. It's just strange.
Yeah.
They need to hire people that actually have seen Star Wars to write their Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Because they were making a very big deal about the fact that they hadn't seen Star Wars, and they were proud of that.
Yeah, but that's a lie because Acolyte actually, I'm not going to go in defense of it, but it featured some really deep cut Star Wars stuff, which was.
I know. I think that was just somebody said, "Okay, put that in there and put this in there," and but the actual some of the writers had never even watched it.
Yeah.
They were surprised that Luke was Leia's brother.
I think Han was when he thought back to it.
Oh, is that how it is in your family?
Yeah, you're from the south.
South of Tatooine.
Yeah.
Now, Andor was great. Andor was probably one of the best things I've seen Star Wars wise in a while. But,
I really enjoyed Ahsoka.
I liked parts of Ahsoka, but I didn't like Ahsoka herself. Because she just spent the whole thing like this.
She had, but if I'm sure you've watched Rebels and Rebels.
Yeah, and Rebels, yeah.
And that's kind of how she ends up. She starts off basically being kind of sulky in Rebels, really, by the end of it.
I just, I liked parts of it. I would love for them to go more depth into the Death Trooper stuff. We kind of got a bit of it there because I'm pretty sure we were supposed to believe that his guards, the ones with the gold and everything, they're actually dead. They're reanimated stormtroopers.
Yeah. Well, the at least they brought in the whole father, sister, and the brother thing into it, which was nice.
Yeah, I loved, and then the thing that makes me depressed is like my favorite part of it. He's dead now, so he can't be in it.
That's a shame because he was so good.
Oh, I love this sword. I love this saber too. That it looked like a broadsword.
It was the fact he was like an evil version of Qui-Gon in that scene where you were introduced to him.
He wasn't even that evil.
Yeah, he was very matter of fact.
Yeah, he just Ray Stevenson, man, he was just so good. He was a great Punisher too, by the way. Warzone was fantastic. I love these guys. You're like, nope, we're just gonna have these put on here.
This reminds me of Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
the guys with the goggles on doing just the computer work.
There's definitely a lot of nods to other things here.
Yeah,
a lot. This is very Star Wars, very, very much. Like, this is Obi-Wan going to the shield generator.
Oh, definitely.
This is funny.
But we are kind of seeing though that Flynn has the ability to just reprogram anything in the grid he wants.
Yeah, it's
You just
great.
have to give him a hit to reboot him.
I love that he just says whatever.
Yeah, just a weasel.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, handy.
Yeah. It kind of would have been nice, though, if... Hasn't Sam got 2 discs in his possession now?
Well, that's what he just did. He threw one. That's coming back to him.
Yeah, but it kind of would have been cool if Sam had,
It done it
mirrored
too.
Tron.
Like,
Yeah.
I can do
With
that
2 discs.
too.
Yeah.
Nice callback here. This is smart. Like
Yeah.
this. He's such the dude. He can't help it now.
I think that's basically who he is, though, isn't it?
In real life, he is totally.
Yeah.
And he's a badass. He just beat cancer. He
Yeah.
is rocking. First time I ever saw Jeff Bridges, I was 4 or 5 years old, and it was King Kong.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that version a long time ago.
Yeah, it's Rick Baker's in the suit.
Was it?
Yeah, he helped design it, and then they're like, "Who can we get to put in there?" And he was the one that did it. So anytime you see King Kong in King Kong, it's Rick Baker.
I seem to remember seeing it when I was a young child on TV. I was about 4 or 5.
Same.
I saw it, and I remember crying when King Kong died.
I did too. I remember because Jessica Lange was in it, and I was like, "Oh, he loves Jessica," and so that got me. My mom was like, "Her name's Jessica too." In like Flynn sequel, ha ha.
This is a very cool scene, though. The fact they all just leap out with the
Oh, I
batons.
know.
And...
It's like they don't care. They're just gonna. Yep. This is so cool. I want
this
one.
bit is so cool.
But then you had King Kong Lives, which I saw in a movie theater with Linda Hamilton in it, where they give King Kong a heart transplant.
Okay.
And Lady Kong is there. And here you go with the Star Wars again with you.
This is, isn't it? Yeah. Don't get cocky, kid.
I mean, this is like the dream of every gamer right here.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I saw it as a 2-part movie of the week. I think they did it on NBC. Calbot said he saw it in the theater in '76.
This is cool as well, though. We're seeing that the fighters that they're in, they've got light walls as well, like the bikes.
Yeah.
Only thing might have been cooler would have been if the big ship that Sam was in had broken into multiple ships or something.
Oh yeah, where they split up like Silverhawks or something like that.
Yeah. That would have been cool.
This is the only part, like, I love the whole Rinsler Tron thing, I guess, since I don't really get much Tron. But it seems so quick for him to turn good.
Yeah, it would have been nice if it had a few moments, like when he'd seen Flynn and things, if he'd have flickered a bit then or something.
Yeah, exactly. It just seems so like that, you know.
It's too much. Too much.
There's too much going on.
You know, a few times in the film, like when he bumped into him, something like, you know, a little bit of him flicking or hesitating or something.
Yeah, like you hear like a flashback even or something
Yeah,
that calls back to it because we already know it's him. We've had
yeah.
that ruined. If this was Japanese, they definitely would have split into three ships.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. I like that headshot. Did this win an Oscar? Because God, it should have for
That's what
effect.
I'm thinking. It was nominated for 1 Oscar.
See, and this is the one thing that triggers it. He sees Kevin.
Yeah. Nominated for Best Sound Effects. Best
Are you
Sound Editing.
serious? That's it?
That is it.
That is bullshit. The Orange Baron. Nice, Johnny. The Oscars suck anyway. Yeah.
But Jeff Bridges was up for Best Actor in a Leading Role Oscar that year for True Grit.
Oh, that was a great movie.
Yeah. Here we go. I fight for the users, but
Yeah, I screamed when I heard that. I was like,
yeah.
yeah. But the cool thing is Rinsler can come back in Ares, but they probably won't do that because we
Yeah.
see him, he turns good.
I would be happy to just have a bit of Tron.
The other major gripe I had with this flick was Tron, so he comes out of the brainwashing at the end just like, yeah, exactly, hell if I know. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
This would have been a great fight if they kept it longer.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
Also, it would have been nice if he'd have turned blue earlier.
Yeah, when it happened. Like
Yeah.
when he realized it, he would have turned blue.
Yeah.
Instead, he goes into the digital water and does it. Yeah, he reboots.
Yeah. I was just thinking, it's a shame there hasn't. I thought there had been one, but then I must be mixed it with another film. That there's never been a Tron anime film, a proper Tron anime, like they've done with some of the Star Wars.
No, they that would be another like Tales from the Grid would be neat. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
Where we could follow different kinds of programs like music programs.
Yeah, and just see a bit more background to what's going on. It's such a potentially a rich world.
Yeah, and you could even have like little bits of it that would like mentions of Tron or Flynn or the MCP.
Yeah.
Because I want Cillian Murphy to come in and become the new MCP, like Sark and company, just come in and be just evil. Yeah, I did watch the first episode of the Terminator Zero, and it is very nice. They have that new anime on Netflix.
I've heard about that. I haven't had a chance to catch that yet.
He should have said. He should have done the
CGI
line.
The CGI hasn't been kind.
It hasn't been kind either. Visual effects haven't been kind.
Put your helmet on, Clue. Why? Trust me.
This isn't bad. I like how they got his hair like actually moving.
Yeah.
Get a clue. Ooh, Humble Bundle has a Terminator 40 Years collection that is tempting.
Oh, that's cool.
Huh. Humble Bundle gets a lot of my money.
Yeah. Edward the Black Prince says, "Kill him like Han."
See, she could have done that. She's got like
Yeah.
a weird lightsaber.
I think, to be honest, he just didn't know how to use it as a sword, because the idea of those batons is they just become whatever, don't they?
Yeah, it seems like it. Which, again, I want one.
Yeah. See.
Betrayal!
Yeah.
Well, so is he.
That would have been good if he'd have said something like that.
So am I, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
that would have made
I was
more
your
sense.
son.
I was first.
Yeah.
This is neat, though. I like this
Yeah.
part. It's sad, but neat. And I'm curious how Ares is going to work this since he's in it.
Flashback, probably.
Yeah. Maybe. Absentee father. Go into effect.
This soundtrack, again, just...
I know, it's so
so
pretty.
good.
This is a nice throwback to the original, too. This
Yeah.
the movie does. Movie poster! Aw.
Use the
Here we
force, Kevin.
Yep. Use the Flynn, Kevin.
That's it.
This is neat.
It's cool, though. You can kind of see he's showing his real power, though.
Yeah. Like, I love the look on his face, too. Like, the grin. Like, I'm a cocky bitch, and I've always been a cocky bitch.
That looks terrible. The face looks terrible, though.
Yeah. I hope they made it.
So has he basically just wiped out most of the grid?
I don't know how, unless he like restarted it. I mean, it's
Maybe,
weird because they don't
yeah.
really explain. It's almost like that whole, what I took from this at the end is that Sam is wearing the grid on a necklace because he's uploaded and saved it all here. And it's sort of like that thing with the cat wearing the galaxy on their
Yeah.
where he's got that whole universe in that little drive. Tron with the wind. That's nice. It's a hard reboot.
But he's got his clothes back that were destroyed.
Yep. Which is funny. I ran into Bruce Boxleitner at San Diego at I think it was the Mattel toy booth. And we both bonded over our mutual hatred of the woman working that booth because she was just acting like a complete bitch. And he's like, "What about that, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm like, "Your face is like 50 feet tall over here," because it was for the series that he did based off of Babylon 5. And his face was literally 50 feet tall down the way from this booth, and they weren't giving him anything.
Right. Yeah.
He rebooted the grid like in the end of Reboot, the show, where the user rebooted mainframe. I used Reboot a lot just now.
Well, that's fortunate that she appeared with appropriate clothing on.
Yeah, I think this is after the fact. I think they went and got clothes, because wouldn't their clothes like go away when they came through, because they were part of the. Oh, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works either.
Yeah, no doubt, Calbot. I'm with you. He should have said Tron says hi.
Yeah.
Oh, to have Tron in my Tron.
Oh, that would have been cool if someone overlaid the scene out of Return of the Jedi with the speeders when they're looking in the woods.
That would have been great. Have you tried turning Tron on and off again? Yeah, this looks like Seattle.
Yeah.
This is definitely Pacific Northwest. This is where I live. It looks this overcast most of the time.
That's like the UK.
Yeah. Well, you're an orphan, officially, kid. How's it feel?
Yeah.
Well done.
There we go, everybody. That was Tron Legacy. Thanks, Jess. That's been so much fun. That film.
Well done, Daft Punk. Yes.
We'll take the comments of the chat as they type them up. And Jess, do you want to summarise that film and your feelings on it?
Tron Legacy definitely lived up to the original in many, many ways, other than the bad CGI. But if it hadn't been for this film, we wouldn't have a lot of the technology we have now. So it makes sense that this movie is all about tech and also humanity. And it's a really beautifully done film, and has one of the best soundtracks of the last 20 years.
I'd say it's one of the best soundtracks of any movie ever, to be honest.
Truth.
Yeah, you can just listen to it constantly. But let's have a look what the chat have to say. Sharon, hell of a ride. Immortal Miss, a great follow-up to the original. Eric, I saw this movie a dozen times. It's an awesome movie, one of my favourites. Hell if I know. No, not a bad flick. But first had a better look. Soundtrack kills, though. Lizard Man, despite my sudden issues on this end, I enjoyed this movie a great deal. Jedi Wizard, great movie, great soundtrack, one of the best sequels of the last 20 years. Yeah, it's nearly 20 years old, this.
How few heroes get to come back from a sinking experience with a girlfriend? Very few.
Yeah, exactly. All style, no substance, says Jabroni.
I saw that. Ow.
Fair enough if that's how you feel. Old Johnny Devick, it's a good movie, slow and brisk at the same time. Music is great, but it looks a bit overproduced, and the colour palette is fine, but it's too limited in a way. I guess so, but then the original film had a very, very limited colour palette.
Oh, it was filmed in black and white, and they painted it. Ms. Swift, nice way to carry on the legacy of the original. Great soundtrack. Yes, I agree. And now we get to wait for Ares to see how much it does.
We'll see. It might be okay. Edward Blackprint says, first time watching it. Oh, well, that's fantastic, Edward. I'm glad you watched it.
Welcome.
You
Sorry,
thought it was
we talked
good.
over most of it.
But no, that was really, really good. Really enjoyed that. So, Jess, obviously, as you know, you've got an open invite to join us anytime you want to. But anyone here, where can they find you online? What projects might they see you in?
So I write for Horror Hound Magazine. I'm currently doing a number of projects for JoeBlow.com and JoeBlow Horror. I have fangirlmag.com, which really needs to be updated, but we also have numbers of episodes of our podcast, Fangirl Radio, that you can listen to, a ton of interviews, one of which, if you go back in the archives, is Killian Murphy. And right now I'm helping create In Search of Darkness, the 90s, by getting some production help in there for that. And yeah, I'm a little bit everywhere. And I will be hopefully interviewing this week Todd McFarlane and David Dastmalchian to talk about their new comic book, Knights vs. Samurai, which will
That
be
is
up on Tovlo.
That'll be worth checking out. That'll be fantastic. But we will be back in 7 days. Dom will be here, and we will be watching Sneakers, the 1992 hacker movie, which will be a lot of fun. So for the next 7 days, please be kind to each other, be safe, look after yourselves, look after each other, and we'll see you in 7 days. Until then,
Bye, all.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.